Welcome to Whether or Not and to What Degree podcast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Kendra Kent with Fox Carolina, and I'm excited to have my guest today from National Weather Service in Greenville, well, actually Greer, the GSP Airport. This is Ashley Pratt, and I know you've been there for a little bit, and we're going to talk all about some of the fun forecast challenges across our area and what you do there. Thank you so much, though, for being with us today.
Yeah, no problem. We love doing things for our partners. We like having a good relationship with y'all and everyone else we work with. It's very important to us.
It is crucial for what we do, for sure, because the faster we get word from you guys, especially National Weather Service chat to me is like the ultimate communication we have during those crazy weather events. And since the beginning, I've been here for 14 years, which is kind of hard to believe. But it's been great for that entire time, if not just gotten better and better as technology's gotten better. But tell us a little bit about how long you've been at National Weather Service Office, GSP, and how it's been so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I joined December 2020, so I've been here just over about a year and some change. I absolutely love it. I work with some of the best people I've ever worked with in my life. They're very knowledgeable and just have a lot of expertise to learn from. And I've been getting to know our partners a little bit better. It's been a little bit difficult with COVID, but we've still been doing a lot of virtual things to be interactive. And I've been doing a lot of school talks and spotter talks and webinars for high impact events. I did a few of those right when I started. Having the TV background, you kind of get thrown into the fire with some of the communication stuff, but it's actually really fun for me. That's my favorite thing to do with it. Taking phone calls, answering people's questions. I did stuff like that all the time in person and on TV when I was on TV a couple years ago. But been here about a year, and I've been learning a bunch and been doing a lot of training and getting involved really heavily in the office. But one of my passions is social science and communication. Because if you can't communicate your forecast, it can be complicated.
Yeah, what's
you
the
have
point,
to
right?
Explain it into ways public. Yeah, what's the point? If you can make a great forecast, it's great, but if no one can understand it, you have to learn how to communicate that, and you can always do it better. So I'm always trying to find ways that we can do better as an office, or even just personally, especially me being new. And having the TV background, some communication, but also having the science background too, being in the weather service. It's been really eye-opening to see all the different things that go on behind the scenes in different sectors of meteorology and different things that your partners' needs may anticipate from being in TV. I kind of know what y'all deal with day to day, but things change a lot, so you have to stay up to date with those. And learning all about the forecasting has been very interesting as well too.
Well, yeah, and I was going to ask about that because to me, I would imagine that's a huge asset to NWS to have someone come in that has had that TV perspective. Not only are you used to, speaking in front of groups and communicating the forecast, but also you can see where we may be coming from when we need something. In the partnership that we have, I feel like that's really huge. Tell us about your experience in television and what made you decide to go the NWS route.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started out in New Bern, North Carolina, one of the TV stations there. I absolutely love the area. I still adore it. It's my absolute favorite place, and I'm excited to be back in South Carolina now because I get to go visit ever so often. Try to get that out there once a year because it's just a very special place to me. When you start out somewhere, and you see people being impacted, like Hurricane Florence hit while I was out there. So I saw the community really come together and really struggle for a bit. So that impacted me a lot and kind of imprinted on me. But my time in TV was very interesting. It was pretty much exactly what I was told it would be like and expected it to be like. So there weren't really a whole lot of surprises there. I did it for about 2 years. I tried to get another on-air job, but it just didn't work. I couldn't get anyone to contact me back. So I actually ended up in Norman, Oklahoma. That's actually where I graduated, was from OU. So I moved from Oklahoma to Eastern North Carolina, was out there for 2 years, and then moved right back to Oklahoma after that. My parents are so sick of moving me back and forth to the Carolinas. They told me this is the last time because I came back out here for the job here. But I was in Norman for about a year working with a private weather company, and then I was laid off about a year into it. And then I spent some of the time during the pandemic without a job, and luckily my parents were away, so I really relied on them to get through that time. And I was applying like crazy to National Weather Service job openings. I got really lucky. The timing was perfect. They had one opening, so I applied to it right away. It took a few months, but I went through the whole process and ended up at GSP, and it's been just wonderful ever since. I've absolutely loved it, and honestly, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, getting laid off from a job. I think in the time, it's not wonderful and it's very stressful. But then when you can look back and see that it got you really far into a great job, into a place that challenges you and really likes to use your strengths to their advantage and to help others, I think that's kind of what pulled me in. I never really thought I'd be working for the Weather Service. I only ever wanted to be in broadcast. So I ended up doing 3 different meteorology sectors within 5 years almost. I've been out of college about 5 years now. So I have a little bit of different perspective on the private sector versus TV versus being in the Weather Service. I'm still learning a lot about the Weather Service. I've only been in there a year, but I feel like I've learned the most from this job, and just really have some great mentors along the way at previous jobs, really great old bosses and things like that helped shape me and mold me. And I had some other people in an office that I work with closely in Morehead City, North Carolina. They were really the ones that pushed me to apply to the Weather Service when I lost my job. They really saw something in me that I really didn't see, because I think sometimes we kind of underestimate ourselves. And so I just took a shot, and they were just really, really grateful in helping me and shaping me and molding me and helping me build that community with them to help kind of get, my foot in the door at the Weather Service. So that really helped me a lot. So I'm really glad to be here and to be working with everyone and learning so much from all of our experienced forecasters who have been here for like 15, 20 plus years. It's really amazing to see how the science has evolved from when we went to college compared to when they went to college.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think that it's such a great combination to have that level of experience and forecasters there. And then to have someone like you who's coming in not only with at least some experience, but also with the ability to really help with the communication part and the social media. I know you mentioned that you're kind of taking over the social sciences team there. So what are some of your goals when it comes to communicating the forecast and, how that could improve, even though you guys do a pretty darn good job already? I think on your Facebook page, National Weather Service chat, all that, I think it's great, but certainly I'm sure tweaks can be made.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we are glad to hear that. We get a lot of really good feedback from our partners, but it also helps if we get some constructive feedback. I think everyone can use that, even if it's just something really small, because you don't know what you need to improve until someone tells you, or even if it's just minor, it's something that could be very easy to fix on our end. But yeah, I'm taking over the social science team soon for our office. This is my first time really leading a team like this. So I have a lot of different ideas on how to mold our spotter talk program, our school talks, as well as getting involved with, we started a quarterly email. So we go out and pick these social science articles that we think are relevant. The last set that we did, I think we have 3 people on the team, so we each read 2 articles. They're kind of old, so I was thinking, it was all a couple of years ago. It's like 2016, 2017. Well, that's like 5-6 years ago. It's so hard to keep up with the time as you get older. It's really true what they say. But I'm reading these articles, and it's really interesting to see. They did a study solely on the Weather Service, and on Twitter, I think, was the main platform that they did the research on. And it was just saying certain things like, putting out as much information as possible, but making it less overwhelming, as well as trying to learn how to communicate those things, making sure people understand the message, and different ways that we could go about trying to get more reaches and followers. And one of the bigger ways that we try to do that is to try to engage our partners to share our content, because especially with y'all being in media, y'all have a lot more followers than we do. So even if y'all just retweet or like something that we posted, that really helps us out. So we just try to reach as many people as possible, especially with inclement weather, learning how to change the message on those. We haven't read a whole lot into it yet. It's been a very recent thing we started doing. But I think it will be really interesting to start seeing newer research of how we can communicate things a little bit better going forward. But it's, slow progress. Research can be kind of slow to do sometimes, especially when you have so many things you got to check off and you have to get it peer reviewed. So we're just kind of taking it slow and trying to find little baby steps, and just even hearing from our media partners of people still don't seem to be understanding, this one concept, watch versus warning. I've been seeing a lot of people having to break that down, especially during severe weather season. I actually saw a reel on Instagram about this person saying, "Oh, it's so confusing." But I've been seeing how the media partners have been showing, a cupcake watch versus a cupcake warning. You have all the ingredients under the watch, and then under the warning, when the cupcake is baked and comes together, all the ingredients came together, so then you have a warning. So I think things like that are very visual, that we can kind of piggyback off on, and have people that have really great ideas in the media to show those things. And that gives us ideas in the Weather Service of how to communicate it better to people. Because for me, I'm visual too. So anything with a picture or that you can physically show that helps the public understand, which can be really hard in meteorology sometimes, is helpful. I've been seeing people using a donut analogy for winter weather. They have a glazed donut to show ice and a sprinkled donut to show sleet. I never thought about that before. I thought that that was incredible. I mean, that's such an easy thing to show. So just things like that, little things that we could even add just in our spotter talks to help the public understand the difference between sleet and snow or watch versus warning, because some people still really don't understand things like that.
Absolutely. I think the simplicity is the key when it comes to explaining a lot of these things. And again, I've seen some really cool stuff already on your Facebook page. Real quickly, as we wrap up, where can people find National Weather Service on Facebook? Like in the search bar, could you just type in NWSGSP or National Weather Service? What's a good way to find you on Facebook as well as Twitter?
Yeah. On Facebook and Twitter, if you literally just search, you can even do NWS GSP, or you can do National Weather Service GSP or National Weather Service Greenville Spartanburg, and it should populate up our page pretty quickly. You can do that in a Google search too. And all of our social media is linked onto our main page as well, the weather.gov/GSP. They have access to that there, and you can scroll through and see our latest posts. If you're having issues finding it, you can go to our main page and then scroll down to the bottom and click on those links there, and it'll direct you right towards it.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. And I think we're going to be talking more because we've got many more topics to cover. Maybe in a couple weeks, maybe we get back together and talk about the forecast challenges for our area. Because when it comes to weather in the Carolinas, we could do literally a podcast for hours and hours. So, but I'm excited to kind of get out the word about your social media program. And I know folks will be, interested to look into that. Ashley, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the invite. We're always here to help answer any questions or, talk more about Weather Service.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you soon.